True inner peace is not something that falls into our laps by chance. It is a deliberate pursuit, an art that requires practice, patience, and wisdom. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who walked the earth centuries ago, understood this truth deeply. They saw life as a constant interplay of external events and internal reactions, and they taught that the only thing we can truly control is how we respond to what happens around us. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who spent his nights writing in solitude, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This simple yet profound insight forms the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and serves as the first step on the path to inner tranquility. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that your car has been towed. You're late for work, your plans are disrupted, and frustration begins to bubble within you. Most people might lash out at the situation, curse the parking enforcement officers, blame themselves for forgetting where they parked, or spiral into a cycle of negative thoughts about their day being ruined. But here's the thing. None of these reactions changes the fact that the car is gone. What you can change is how you respond. Do you allow the event to dictate your mood, or do you take a deep breath, remind yourself that setbacks are part of life, and focus on solving the problem? Seneca, the sharp-tongued advisor to emperors, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How much of our distress comes from catastrophizing rather than addressing the issue at hand? This distinction between what lies within our control and what does not is central to achieving inner peace. Epictetus, born a slave but later becoming one of history's most influential teachers, put it plainly, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not. The weather, other people's opinions, traffic jams, even illness, all these fall outside our sphere of influence. Yet so many of us waste precious energy trying to bend them to our will." Instead, the Stoics urge us to direct our attention inward, to cultivate virtues like patience, courage, and resilience. These qualities are entirely within our grasp, and when nurtured, they create a foundation for enduring calm. Consider the story of James Stockdale, a Vietnam War prisoner who endured years of torture and isolation. Stockdale credited his survival to the lessons he learned from Epictetus. While imprisoned, he reminded himself daily that while he couldn't control his captor's actions, he could control his attitude toward his suffering. He chose dignity over despair, hope over hatred. His example shows us that inner peace isn't reserved for those living idyllic lives. It's available even amid chaos, provided we train ourselves to separate what we can manage from what we cannot. To walk this path, however, requires vigilance. Our minds are prone to wandering, to fixating on trivialities, or exaggerating minor inconveniences into major crises. Think about how quickly a spilled cup of coffee can derail your morning if you let it. A Stoic would pause, wipe up the mess, and move forward without allowing anger or frustration to linger. Why? Because such emotions serve no purpose. They don't unspill the coffee, nor do they make the rest of your day any better. As Marcus Aurelius observed, how much time he saves who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself. Living with such awareness demands discipline. It means catching ourselves when we start ruminating on things beyond our control and gently steering our thoughts back to productive action. It also involves recognizing that many of the things we chase, wealth, fame, validation, are fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying. Seneca warned against placing too much value on externals, saying, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." True contentment arises when we align our desires with what is reasonable and necessary, freeing ourselves from the endless pursuit of material gain or social approval. But how do we develop this alignment? One way is through reflection. Each evening, take a few moments to review your day. Ask yourself, where did I act wisely? Where did I lose my composure? What can I improve tomorrow? This practice, known as the evening meditation, was championed by both Marcus Aurelius and Seneca as a tool for self-improvement. By examining our actions honestly, we begin to see patterns in our behavior and identify areas for growth. Over time, this habit fosters greater self-awareness and equanimity. Another powerful technique is visualization. Before embarking on a challenging task or entering a potentially stressful situation, imagine all the possible outcomes, both positive and negative. Then ask yourself, which parts of this scenario can I control? Focus your energy there and release attachment to the rest. This mental exercise prepares you to face adversity with grace, knowing that you've already considered the worst-case scenario and decided how to handle it. Epictetus advised, "Demand not that events should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." Let me share a personal anecdote to illustrate this point. A few years ago, I found myself stuck in a long line at the airport during a layover. The delay seemed endless, and tensions were high among travelers. Some people shouted at the gate agents, others paced anxiously, and still others sulked in their seats. Watching this unfold, I realized I had two choices: join the collective frustration or use the time productively. I pulled out a notebook and started jotting down ideas for a project I'd been meaning to tackle. By the time boarding began, I felt accomplished rather than aggravated. The wait hadn't changed. It was still inconvenient, but my perspective transformed the experience entirely. Stories like this remind us that inner peace doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. It depends on our ability to adapt and find meaning in whatever situation we encounter. And sometimes, finding meaning requires embracing discomfort. The Stoics believed that hardship is not something to avoid, but an opportunity to strengthen our character. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." When faced with challenges, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" One famous anecdote from antiquity illustrates this principle beautifully. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck early in his life. Rather than succumbing to despair, he viewed the catastrophe as a chance to rebuild his existence on firmer philosophical ground. He walked into a bookstore, picked up a book by Socrates, and decided then and there to dedicate his life to wisdom. Would Zeno have become the father of Stoicism had he not experienced such loss? Perhaps not. Adversity forced him to reevaluate his priorities and seek deeper truths. Of course, cultivating inner peace isn't just about enduring hardships. It's also about fostering gratitude for life's blessings. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, creating a sense of sufficiency and joy. Marcus Aurelius urged us to appreciate the ordinary wonders around us. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Even small acts of thankfulness, acknowledging the kindness of a stranger, marveling at a sunset, or simply savoring a warm meal, can elevate our spirits and reinforce our connection to the present moment. In addition to gratitude, humility plays a crucial role in the Stoic approach to inner peace. Recognizing our own limitations keeps us grounded and open to learning. None of us possesses all the answers, and pretending otherwise only leads to arrogance and dissatisfaction. Epictetus cautioned, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." True wisdom lies in admitting what we don't know and striving to grow each day. As we continue along this path, it's important to remember that inner peace isn't a destination. It's a journey. There will be days when we falter, when old habits resurface, or when external pressures feel overwhelming. That's okay. What matters is our willingness to keep trying, to pick ourselves up after setbacks, and to remain committed to the principles of Stoicism. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Throughout history, countless individuals have turned to Stoicism to navigate life's storms. From Roman statesmen to modern leaders, its teachings have offered solace and guidance across generations. Today, as we grapple with unprecedented levels of stress and uncertainty, the wisdom of the Stoics feels more relevant than ever. Their message is timeless. True inner peace comes not from changing the world around us, but from mastering the world within. So, where do you begin? Start small. Pay attention to your thoughts and reactions throughout the day. Notice when you're clinging to things outside your control, and gently redirect your focus. Practice gratitude by naming 3 things you're thankful for each morning. Reflect on your actions nightly, seeking ways to improve. Over time, these small efforts compound, leading to profound transformation. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every obstacle is an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, and more at peace. Ultimately, the path to inner peace is a commitment to living intentionally. It's about choosing virtue over vice, reason over emotion, and acceptance over resistance. It's about understanding that happiness isn't something external. It's cultivated within. As Seneca beautifully expressed, peace is not achieved by avoiding trouble, but by overcoming it. Embrace this philosophy, and you'll discover that no matter what life throws your way, you possess the tools to remain steadfast, serene, and free. True inner peace is not a distant ideal reserved for monks or mystics. It is a practical achievement accessible to anyone willing to embrace the teachings of Stoicism. At its core, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. A lesson vividly captured by Epictetus when he said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one piece of undeniable truth. Some things are within our control, and some things are not." This clarity is transformative because it liberates us from the exhausting struggle to manipulate external circumstances and redirects our energy toward cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and resilience. These qualities, which are entirely within our domain, become the bedrock upon which lasting tranquility is built. Consider the case of someone preparing for an important job interview. They may spend hours researching the company, rehearsing answers, and selecting the perfect outfit. All of these actions are commendable and fall squarely within their control. However, once they step into the interview room, factors beyond their influence come into play. The mood of the interviewer, the qualifications of other candidates, or even unforeseen disruptions like technical glitches during a virtual meeting. If they obsess over these uncontrollable variables, anxiety will likely cloud their performance. On the other hand, if they focus solely on presenting themselves authentically and giving their best effort, they embody Stoic principles. Regardless of the outcome, they can walk away knowing they acted with integrity and purpose. This principle applies universally, whether we're dealing with professional challenges, personal relationships, or health issues. Take, for instance, the experience of caring for an aging parent. The physical decline of a loved one is an inevitable aspect of life that no amount of wishing or worrying can alter. Yet, many caregivers find themselves consumed by guilt, frustration, or fear as they witness these changes. A Stoic approach would encourage them to accept the natural progression of aging while concentrating on what they can offer: compassion, patience, and presence. By doing so, they honor their role without letting despair overwhelm them. Seneca's words resonate deeply here. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. To fully integrate this mindset, we must train ourselves to recognize and relinquish attachments to outcomes. Picture a farmer planting seeds in the spring. He tills the soil, sows carefully, and waters diligently, but he knows he cannot command the sun to shine or the rain to fall. His success depends on forces beyond his control. Does this mean he abandons his efforts? Of course not. Instead, he focuses on executing his responsibilities to the best of his ability, trusting that nature will take its course. Similarly, we must pour our energy into actions aligned with our values, releasing our grip on specific results. Marcus Aurelius encapsulated this idea succinctly. Do every act of your life as though it were the last. The Stoics also emphasized the futility of lamenting past events or dreading future possibilities. Both tendencies pull us away from the present moment, where life actually unfolds. Imagine a student agonizing over a poor grade received weeks earlier. While it's natural to feel disappointment initially, dwelling excessively on the setback serves no constructive purpose. Instead, the Stoic response would involve extracting lessons from the experience, perhaps identifying areas for academic improvement, and then moving forward with renewed determination. Likewise, excessive worry about potential failures robs us of the opportunity to act decisively in the now. Epictetus advised, "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hope for." Everyday scenarios abound where applying this philosophy proves invaluable. Suppose you're hosting a dinner party, and halfway through the evening, you realize the dessert hasn't set properly. Panic might tempt you to apologize profusely or berate yourself for the oversight. A Stoic host, however, would acknowledge the mishap, adjust gracefully, and perhaps even turn the situation into a light-hearted joke. After all, the quality of the dessert doesn't define the warmth of the gathering or the connections forged among guests. This ability to pivot reflects a profound shift in perspective, one that prioritizes meaningful engagement over superficial perfection. Such adaptability stems from accepting imperfection in ourselves, in others, and in the world at large. Perfectionism often masquerades as a noble pursuit, but it frequently leads to chronic dissatisfaction. The Stoics understood that striving for excellence is admirable, but obsessing over flawlessness breeds unnecessary suffering. Seneca wrote, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is within their power not to want what they don't have, and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have." This mindset encourages us to celebrate progress rather than demand unattainable standards. Furthermore, practicing detachment from external validation strengthens our resolve. In today's hyper-connected world, where social media amplifies comparisons and seeks approval, maintaining inner equilibrium becomes increasingly challenging. Consider the pressure to curate a flawless online persona, posting only the highlights of our lives while concealing struggles or insecurities. A Stoic would resist this temptation, recognizing that genuine self-worth isn't contingent on likes, comments, or followers. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." By internalizing this wisdom, we shield ourselves from the capricious whims of public opinion and anchor our identities in steadfast principles. Ultimately, the Stoic path to inner peace hinges on embracing paradoxes. We strive for excellence while accepting imperfection. We engage wholeheartedly with life's challenges while remaining detached from their outcomes. We cherish human connections without being enslaved by others' judgments. These apparent contradictions dissolve when viewed through the lens of Stoic philosophy, revealing a harmonious balance between action and acceptance. As we navigate this delicate dance, stories from history provide inspiration and guidance. One such tale involves Admiral James Stockdale, whose imprisonment during the Vietnam War tested the limits of human endurance. Despite enduring years of torture and solitary confinement, Stockdale maintained his sanity and spirit by adhering to Stoic tenets. He accepted the harsh realities of his captivity while nurturing hope and resilience within himself. His story underscores the universality of Stoic wisdom. Regardless of external conditions, our inner landscape remains ours to shape. By committing to these practices, focusing on what we can control, letting go of attachments, staying present, and rejecting perfectionism, we gradually dismantle the barriers to inner peace. Each small victory reinforces our confidence in the process, creating a virtuous cycle of growth and serenity. Over time, we discover that obstacles once perceived as insurmountable become stepping stones to greater strength and clarity. And as we traverse this journey, we realize that the Stoic promise holds true. The key to tranquility lies not in reshaping the world around us, but in mastering the world within. Gratitude and humility stand as twin pillars supporting the architecture of true inner peace, offering a foundation that transforms our relationship with ourselves and the world. These virtues, deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy, invite us to shift our gaze from scarcity to abundance, from pride to perspective. Through gratitude, we awaken to the richness of the present moment, while humility reminds us of our place within the vast tapestry of existence. Together, they foster a profound sense of contentment that transcends fleeting pleasures and anchors us in enduring tranquility. Gratitude, in particular, acts as a balm for the restless mind, redirecting our attention from what we lack to what we already possess. It is easy to fall into the trap of perpetual longing, always chasing the next milestone or acquisition, believing that fulfillment lies just beyond the horizon. Yet, as Seneca astutely observed, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Gratitude disrupts the cycle of insatiability by illuminating the abundance already woven into our daily lives. Consider the simple act of breathing, something so automatic we rarely give it thought. Yet, each inhalation is a gift, sustaining us moment by moment. To notice and appreciate such fundamentals is to cultivate a reservoir of peace that no external force can deplete. One powerful way to practice gratitude is through deliberate reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to recount the blessings you encountered, no matter how small. Did a stranger hold the door open for you? Did a friend send a kind message? Did the sun break through the clouds during a dreary afternoon? These seemingly insignificant moments accumulate, forming a mosaic of grace that enriches our lives. Marcus Aurelius encouraged this habit, urging us to think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Such reminders recalibrate our perspective, helping us see beauty and meaning even in mundane routines. Humility complements gratitude by tempering the ego and fostering a spirit of openness. In a culture that often glorifies ambition and self-promotion, humility can feel counterintuitive, even vulnerable. Yet, it is precisely this vulnerability that connects us to others and to our shared humanity. Epictetus captured the essence of humility when he said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." True growth requires acknowledging our limitations and embracing the unknown with curiosity rather than defensiveness. This posture of humility allows us to learn from mistakes, seek guidance, and approach life with a beginner's mind. History offers poignant examples of individuals whose humility and gratitude shaped their legacies. Abraham Lincoln, despite his towering achievements as a leader, remained remarkably humble throughout his presidency. He attributed his successes to divine providence and the collective efforts of those around him, never claiming sole credit for victories won. Similarly, Mother Teresa's lifelong service to the destitute stemmed from her deep gratitude for life's simplest gifts and her unwavering humility before God and humanity. Her famous prayer, "Fill my soul with thy love and grace," reflects a heart attuned to both giving thanks and recognizing its dependence on something greater. Incorporating gratitude and humility into our daily lives need not require grand gestures. Often, it is the smallest acts that resonate most profoundly. For instance, expressing sincere appreciation to someone who has helped you, a coworker, a family member, or a barista, can brighten their day and reinforce your own sense of connection. Likewise, pausing to marvel at the intricate design of a leaf or the sound of bird song can evoke a quiet awe that grounds us in the present. These moments of mindful acknowledgement ripple outward, influencing how we interact with others and perceive the world. Moreover, gratitude and humility equip us to navigate adversity with resilience. When faced with setbacks, it is tempting to wallow in self-pity or resentment. However, adopting a grateful mindset enables us to uncover silver linings, however faint they may seem. Perhaps a missed promotion creates space for new opportunities, or a canceled plan invites unexpected adventures. Humility plays a parallel role by reminding us that failure is not a reflection of worth, but a universal experience shared by all. As Marcus Aurelius noted, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles, when met with humility and gratitude, reveal hidden pathways to growth. The intersection of these virtues also enhances our capacity for empathy and compassion. Gratitude softens our hearts, making us more attuned to the struggles and triumphs of others. Humility strips away pretense, enabling authentic connections based on mutual respect. Together, they dismantle barriers of judgment and superiority, replacing them with bridges of understanding. Whether comforting a grieving friend or volunteering at a community center, gratitude and humility amplify our ability to contribute positively to the lives of those around us. To deepen these practices, consider integrating rituals that celebrate gratitude and humility into your routine. Journaling, for example, provides a tangible outlet for recording moments of thankfulness and insights gleaned from challenges. Sharing meals with loved ones offers an opportunity to express appreciation openly and listen humbly to their stories. Even solitary walks in nature can serve as meditative exercises, inviting reflection on the interconnectedness of all living things. Each of these activities reinforces the Stoic belief that inner peace arises from aligning our actions with timeless virtues. Ultimately, gratitude and humility are not merely moral ideals, but practical tools for crafting a life imbued with meaning and serenity. They teach us to savor the richness of the present, embrace our imperfections, and honor the contributions of others. By weaving these virtues into the fabric of our existence, we construct a sanctuary of peace that withstands the turbulence of external circumstances. As Seneca so eloquently phrased it, he who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. In cultivating gratitude and humility, we find satisfaction not in accumulating more, but in cherishing what is already ours, a boundless source of true inner peace. Along the path to inner peace, the necessity of perseverance cannot be overstated. Life, in its unpredictable rhythm, presents us with trials that test our resolve. And it is in these crucibles of adversity that the true metal of our character is forged. The Stoics, with their keen understanding of human nature, recognize that challenges are not merely obstacles to be overcome, but essential components of personal growth. As Marcus Aurelius aptly stated, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This profound insight reminds us that every difficulty we encounter carries within it the seeds of transformation, provided we meet it with steadfast determination. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, whose relentless pursuit of innovation exemplifies the Stoic virtue of perseverance. During his quest to invent the electric light bulb, Edison conducted thousands of experiments, each one ending in failure. Yet, rather than succumbing to despair, he famously remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His unwavering commitment to his goal, coupled with his ability to view setbacks as stepping stones, embodies the Stoic principle that adversity is a teacher disguised as an adversary. By embracing the process rather than fixating on immediate results, Edison transformed repeated failures into eventual triumph, lighting up the world in more ways than one. Perseverance, however, is not merely about enduring hardship. It is also about maintaining clarity of purpose amidst chaos. When confronted with obstacles, it is easy to lose sight of our objectives, allowing frustration or fatigue to cloud our judgment. Here, the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control proves invaluable. Epictetus advised, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This directive calls for a clear vision of our goals, followed by disciplined action, aligned with that vision. Whether we are striving to master a skill, repair a fractured relationship, or navigate a career transition, keeping our sights fixed on the broader purpose helps us weather the storms of doubt and distraction. A poignant illustration of this principle can be found in the life of Viktor Frankl, the Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. Imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps, Frankl faced unimaginable suffering, yet he emerged with a profound philosophy of meaning and resilience. In his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Frankl's ability to persevere under the harshest conditions stemmed from his conviction that even in the bleakest moments, individuals retain the power to choose their attitude toward fate. His experience underscores the Stoic belief that while external circumstances may confine us, our inner freedom remains inviolable. Incorporating perseverance into our daily lives requires a blend of patience and persistence. Patience ensures that we do not rush through difficulties, dismissing their lessons in our haste to escape discomfort. Persistence guarantees that we continue moving forward, even when progress seems incremental or invisible. Together, these qualities create a steady momentum that propels us toward our aspirations. For example, imagine someone learning to play a musical instrument. The initial stages are often fraught with frustration, awkward finger placements, off-key notes, and slow tempos. Yet, by practicing consistently and embracing the learning curve, they gradually refine their technique, transforming awkwardness into artistry. Each small victory reinforces their resolve, building a foundation of competence and confidence. Stoicism teaches us that perseverance is not a solitary endeavor, but a communal one. Just as a tree draws strength from its roots, we draw sustenance from the support of others. Seneca emphasized the importance of friendship and mentorship in fostering resilience, stating, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Surrounding ourselves with individuals who embody perseverance inspires us to emulate their example. Whether it is a colleague who tackles projects with unwavering dedication, or a friend who navigates personal struggles with grace. These role models remind us that we are not alone in our journey. Moreover, the Stoics viewed perseverance as a form of gratitude, a way of honoring the opportunities life affords us to grow stronger and wiser. Every challenge, no matter how daunting, is an invitation to expand our capacities and deepen our understanding. By approaching difficulties with this mindset, we transform them from burdens into blessings. Consider the athlete training for a marathon. The rigorous regimen of early mornings, sore muscles, and mental fatigue might seem punishing, yet the runner views these trials as necessary steps toward achieving their dream. Their perseverance is an act of reverence for the sport and for their own potential. In addition to external challenges, perseverance also involves confronting internal demons, fears, doubts, and insecurities that threaten to derail our progress. These psychological barriers often loom larger than any external obstacle, demanding equal measures of courage and self-awareness to overcome. Marcus Aurelius urged introspection as a means of fortifying the mind against such adversaries. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. By regularly examining our thoughts and motivations, we uncover hidden strengths and confront weaknesses, equipping ourselves to face adversity with greater resilience. Practicing perseverance extends beyond individual pursuits to encompass our interactions with others. In relationships, conflicts and misunderstandings are inevitable. Yet it is our willingness to persevere through these rough patches that determines their longevity and depth. A couple navigating disagreements, for instance, must choose whether to retreat into silence or engage in dialogue aimed at resolution. By persevering through discomfort and prioritizing communication, they strengthen their bond and build trust. Similarly, in professional settings, teams that persevere through setbacks often emerge more cohesive and innovative, having learned to collaborate effectively under pressure. Ultimately, perseverance is not a static trait, but a dynamic process that evolves over time. It demands flexibility, adaptability, and a willingness to recalibrate our strategies when necessary. The Stoics understood that rigidity in the face of change is as detrimental as complacency. Instead, they advocated for a balanced approach that combines firmness of purpose with openness to new possibilities. As Epictetus counseled, circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself. Perseverance, therefore, is not about resisting change, but about harnessing it to propel us toward our highest selves. To cultivate perseverance, we can adopt several practical strategies rooted in Stoic philosophy. First, establish clear, achievable goals that align with your values and aspirations. Break these goals into manageable steps, celebrating each milestone along the way. Second, develop a daily routine that incorporates reflective practices, such as journaling or meditation, to reinforce your commitment and track your progress. Third, surround yourself with supportive individuals who challenge and inspire you to push beyond your comfort zone. Finally, embrace setbacks as opportunities for growth, viewing them not as failures, but as feedback that informs your next move. In conclusion, perseverance stands as a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, offering a blueprint for navigating life's complexities with grace and grit. By embracing challenges as catalysts for growth, maintaining clarity of purpose, and drawing strength from both personal resolve and communal support, we forge a path to enduring inner peace. Like the blacksmith shaping molten metal into tempered steel, adversity molds us into versions of ourselves capable of withstanding life's fiercest storms. And in this alchemy of struggle and triumph, we discover the profound truth articulated by Seneca: difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Through perseverance, we transform obstacles into opportunities, forging a legacy of resilience that echoes through the ages. Achieving inner peace is akin to navigating a river. Its currents may vary in intensity, its waters may twist unpredictably, but the essence of the journey remains consistent. The Stoics understood this analogy deeply, emphasizing that the path to tranquility is not a linear progression, but a continuous process requiring sustained effort and adaptation. As Marcus Aurelius reflected, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. This reminder underscores the fluidity of existence and the importance of aligning our mindset with the ever-shifting nature of reality. Inner peace, therefore, is not a destination to be reached, but a state to be cultivated, nurtured, and revisited throughout our lives. At the heart of this ongoing journey lies the recognition that consistency is key. Just as a gardener tends to their plants daily, watering, pruning, and protecting them from pests, so too must we attend to the garden of our minds. Neglecting this responsibility, even briefly, risks allowing weeds of negativity and distraction to take root. The Stoics advocated for regular self-examination, a practice that mirrors the gardener's diligence. Seneca wrote, "Each day provides its own gifts," urging us to seize these opportunities for reflection and refinement. By dedicating time each day to assess our thoughts, actions, and emotions, we ensure that our inner landscape remains fertile ground for virtues like patience, courage, and wisdom. This daily discipline takes various forms, depending on individual preferences and circumstances. For some, journaling serves as a powerful tool for processing experiences and distilling lessons. Writing allows us to articulate challenges, clarify intentions, and chart progress, transforming abstract reflections into concrete insights. Others may prefer meditation or mindfulness exercises, which anchor us in the present moment and heighten awareness of our mental patterns. Still, others might find solace in physical activities like yoga or walking, which integrate movement with contemplation. Regardless of the method chosen, the goal remains the same: to maintain a vigilant connection with our inner world, ensuring that it remains aligned with Stoic principles. Consistency also involves anticipating and preparing for life's inevitable fluctuations. No matter how serene our current circumstances, change is an immutable law of existence. The Stoics liken this to the ebb and flow of tides, teaching that we must equip ourselves to ride the waves rather than resist them. Epictetus advised, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish for everything to happen as it actually does, and your life will be serene." This acceptance does not imply passivity. Rather, it empowers us to respond skillfully to whatever arises. By rehearsing different scenarios mentally, we build resilience and reduce the shock of unexpected events. For example, consider the experience of losing a job, a situation fraught with uncertainty and emotional turmoil. A Stoic approach would involve acknowledging the initial sting of disappointment while simultaneously focusing on actionable steps, updating resumes, networking, or acquiring new skills. At the same time, one might reflect on the impermanence of all things, including careers, and use the transition as an opportunity to reassess priorities and explore alternative paths. Such an attitude transforms a potentially devastating blow into a catalyst for reinvention. As Marcus Aurelius noted, "Life is neither good nor bad. It is the space for both good and bad." Our task is to navigate this space with equanimity and purpose. Another critical aspect of maintaining inner peace is recognizing the interconnectedness of our efforts. Just as a single stone thrown into a pond creates ripples that extend far beyond its point of impact, so too do our actions reverberate through our lives and the lives of others. Practicing kindness, for instance, not only uplifts those who receive it, but also reinforces our own sense of compassion and generosity. Conversely, harboring resentment or indulging in pettiness diminishes both our spirit and our relationships. The Stoics emphasize the ethical dimension of inner peace, asserting that true tranquility arises from living in harmony with nature, which includes treating others with justice and benevolence. This principle finds expression in countless everyday interactions. Imagine encountering a rude driver who cuts you off in traffic. An instinctive reaction might involve anger or retaliation, escalating tension and spoiling your mood. Alternatively, adopting a Stoic perspective would prompt you to consider the broader context. Perhaps the driver is rushing to an emergency or grappling with personal struggles. By choosing forgiveness over indignation, you preserve your inner calm while contributing to a more compassionate society. Seneca encapsulated this ethos beautifully. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. In addition to fostering ethical conduct, maintaining inner peace requires periodic recalibration of our goals and values. Life evolves, and so do we. What once brought fulfillment may eventually lose its luster, necessitating a reevaluation of priorities. This process resembles pruning a tree, removing dead branches to allow new growth. Regularly asking ourselves questions like, am I pursuing what truly matters? Or, does my current path align with my deepest convictions? Helps us stay attuned to our authentic selves. It also prevents stagnation, ensuring that our journey remains dynamic and meaningful. Stories from history and literature abound with examples of individuals who embrace this iterative approach to inner peace. One notable figure is Mahatma Gandhi, whose commitment to nonviolence and self-discipline exemplified Stoic ideals. Throughout his life, Gandhi engaged in rigorous self-scrutiny, fasting, and prayer to purify his intentions and actions. He viewed setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to deepen his understanding of truth and justice. His famous quote, "The future depends on what you do today," resonates with the Stoic emphasis on present moment awareness and proactive engagement. Similarly, the poet Maya Angelou demonstrated remarkable resilience in the face of adversity, using her creative talents to transcend pain and inspire others. Her memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, chronicles her journey from trauma to triumph, highlighting the transformative power of storytelling and self-expression. Angelou's ability to find beauty amidst hardship reflects a Stoic sensibility, affirming that inner peace is not contingent on external conditions but emerges from how we interpret and respond to them. To sustain this lifelong pursuit, it is helpful to draw inspiration from diverse sources. Literature, philosophy, art, and nature all offer rich veins of wisdom that can replenish our spirits and broaden our perspectives. Reading works by Stoic philosophers, exploring classic texts, or immersing ourselves in natural landscapes can reignite our sense of wonder and purpose. Additionally, engaging in dialogue with mentors, friends, or communities who share similar aspirations fosters accountability and encouragement. Together, these resources form a tapestry of support that bolsters our resolve during challenging times. Ultimately, the Stoic path to inner peace is characterized by its emphasis on process over outcome. While specific milestones, such as mastering a skill, healing a relationship, or achieving financial stability may bring temporary satisfaction, the real reward lies in the ongoing cultivation of virtues that sustain us through life's vicissitudes. As Epictetus observed, no great thing is created suddenly. True peace unfolds gradually, shaped by countless small choices and habits accumulated over time. By embracing this gradual unfolding, we learn to savor the journey itself, finding joy in the act of becoming rather than fixating on the end point. In closing, let us return to the metaphor of the river. Its waters may swirl chaotically at times, yet beneath the surface flows a steady current that carries us forward. So too does the path to inner peace flow through our lives, inviting us to surrender to its rhythms and trust in its direction. By committing to consistent practices, adapting to change, nurturing ethical conduct, and seeking inspiration from varied sources, we align ourselves with this current, allowing it to guide us toward tranquility. And as we drift along, guided by the wisdom of the Stoics, we come to realize that inner peace is less about arriving at a final destination and more about embracing the infinite possibilities contained within each passing moment.